Hello, everybody, and I would like to thank my wonderful subscribers.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Mr. Nightmare reaction. And today, we are going to be watching two disturbing, true, scary stories. I don't know if I've ever seen a video that only has two. Usually, he goes to three. So, I don't know if it was like he didn't have a lot of people giving him stories or something like that. But it looks like this may be a bit of a shorter episode, if you will. So yeah, there isn't really any sort of like category. It really is just like anything. This is an anything goes video. So yeah. Let's see what happens in this video. Is it about winter? Is it about Halloween? Is it about nothing? Is it about everything? I don't know yet. Let's do this. True Shadari Shadori.
Before we start today's stories, a quick thanks to today's sponsor, ZocDoc. The horror in a lot of the stories I read start with a small, creeping sense of unease.
Yeah?
Well, sometimes the real creeping dread comes from something we ignore.
What?
Our health. Like a nagging
God.
ache, a weird symptom, or just the stress of keeping up with everything.
Really?
I recently found myself putting off a doctor's visit with the usual excuse that maybe it'll go away and I'll wait till tomorrow to call.
What happened?
That's where ZocDoc swooped in and made things simple. It's a free website where you can search and compare in-network doctors, filter by specialty, check actual appointment openings, and book instantly, often within 24
But how
to 72
did that help
hours.
my problem?
You can look at verified patient reviews, read doctor profiles, and pick someone who feels like the right fit for you. No long phone calls or guessing games. For me, I was able to pick a doctor who literally had availability the next day and whose reviews mentioned patients feeling heard. That was important because when you walk into an appointment, you want someone who gets you, not someone you can't connect with. So if you've been putting off seeing a doctor, feeling unsure of where to start, or just want someone to feel good about walking into their office or video call, go check out ZocDoc.com/Mr. Nightmare and find a doctor that fits you.
Okay, but like, the issue that you started the video with was like, oh, if you don't think that you actually need to go to the doctor, like, oh, I bet it will go away in a day or two. The issue you talked about isn't really, I don't like my doctor, or, oh, I have no time to go to the doctor. The issue you talked about was like, was about your health, like, oh, I bet it's nothing. Like, I really thought you were going to try to sell me on some sort of, like, I don't know, detect my symptom app. Where you, like, you put in your symptom, and it, like, tells you, oh, this is what it could be, this is what it could be, this is what it could be. But no, you just gave me, like, that ain't BetterHelp. Like, what you just said sounded a bit like BetterHelp. Except that, you know, it probably is better. Because, like, I don't know. I feel like doctors are, I don't want to say more reliable, but, like, I have a feeling that the doctors are probably gonna be there when you say it. So that kind of, like, the doctor version of BetterHelp. But, yeah. Tell me if you guys use, what was it called? It was Doc something. ZocDoc, I think it was. Tell me if you guys use that app and if it actually works. This is story number 1 by Anonymous. Yeah, do this shit. Story number 1 by Anonymous.
This happened to me on Thanksgiving Day 2 years ago.
Ooh.
The reason I remember it was Thanksgiving Day was because I was sick with a respiratory virus that was going around at the time.
Ugh, that's
on Thanksgiving, I was past the fever and contagious part.
Yeah?
I just had body chills and could not go 5 seconds without coughing. And
What
I could barely
are body
speak.
chills?
At the time, I had promised a friend/coworker who would be out of town for the holidays that I would watch her cat, as her cat is older and needs medicine every day.
Okay. And
I
so do
agreed, since she
you.
lives a short walk away from where we work. I agreed before I got sick, but I couldn't go back on my promise.
Yeah.
I was also talking to a friend about how both of us wanted to go play tennis and bowling at some point since we both played in high school.
Okay.
I had kept my tennis rackets and bowling ball at my father's place since the dorm I lived in was extremely small.
Oh, you're a
I live in a big
student.
city to go to college and therefore did not have a car as I used public transportation to get around.
Okay.
Because I was sick during Thanksgiving, I was unable to get back to my father's place for Thanksgiving. But I was
Dang.
extremely determined to get my tennis rackets and bowling balls since I
Okay.
only go back to my father's place a couple times a year. So if I didn't get my things on Thanksgiving, it would
You
be
never
another few
would.
months before we could play.
Yeah.
And so I was stubborn and dead set on getting my things.
Or you could buy
I had made
new.
a plan in my head. I would walk to the light rail and get off on a station closer to where my father lives.
Yeah.
Then ask my brother to come and bring me the stuff that I wanted. On the way home, I would get off the light rail and take the bus to my friend's place to check in on her cat and make sure she was taking her medicine.
That
The
is
transit
like
system
the
where I live is still
schedule.
very irregular. As I was waiting for the bus to come and take me to my friend's place on Apple Maps, my phone would keep saying that the bus was 1 minute away, just for it to not show up.
Yeah.
And then I'd refresh it, and it would say the next bus comes in 15 minutes.
Oh.
I would have just walked to her place, and she lives not too far from the light rail station. But for
But-
context, at the time, I was a 19-year-old female, about 5'3".
Oh.
I was carrying a 13-pound bowling ball, a couple tennis rackets,
Oh, yeah,
and
it's
some
heavy.
Thanksgiving leftovers, along
It's
with
heavy.
being sick. I had been waiting for over 30
You're a
minutes for the bus
female.
to come, and since it was about 9 p.m. on Thanksgiving, the bus stop was empty and I was the only one there. As I was waiting, a car pulled up with a group of men who looked
I'm sorry. Because
minutes
of
for the bus to
oh,
come,
sorry.
and since it
Because the narrator
was
is
about 9 p.m. on Thanksgiving,
God. Because the narrator is male, I always assume that it's a boy unless I'm told it isn't. Because usually, if your gender is important, it's usually because, I don't know, you're dating somebody, or because, like, somebody is looking at you because of how, like, attractive you are. But yeah, I wonder if there is a real life horror story narrator who is female. Because all the ones I've heard are male. And I wonder what that says. Because women can be just as scary as narrators. So, I don't know why there isn't really a female one that I know about. Like, all the popular ones, at least.
was not too far from the light rail station.
Yeah?
But for context, at the time, I was a 19-year-old female, about 5'3", and I was carrying a 13-pound bowling ball, a couple tennis
Yeah,
rackets,
no, I would
and
not
some
wanna
Thanksgiving
walk either.
leftovers, along with being sick. I had been waiting for over
Sounds
30
like
minutes for the bus to
hell.
come, and since it was about 9 p.m. on Thanksgiving, the bus stop was empty and I was the only one there.
Okay.
As I was waiting, a car pulled up with a group of men who looked like they were in their early to mid-20s.
Nope.
They were speaking another language and laughing. I assumed they were just friends dropping someone off at the station.
Yeah.
After a few minutes, one of the men got out and the car drove off. The station was pretty big, and I stood a little away from the actual bus stop since I was coughing a lot and didn't want to be near anyone.
Okay, yeah.
Despite that, the man walked over and sat on the bench directly next to me. I didn't think much of it at first. I just stared at my phone, watching the bus arrival time
I would
constantly
watch
change,
him.
and kept leaning out to look down the street for the bus headlights.
Yeah.
A couple minutes passed, and
You
then I
had
suddenly
pepper
felt something
spray?
on my shoulder.
Oh, no.
The man had gotten up and wrapped his arm tightly around me.
Ew.
My mind went completely blank.
No.
I was so confused and startled that I just froze up.
Well, hit
After a
him.
moment, he
Walk
mumbled
away.
something, like asking if I was okay. I
No.
quietly said that I was fine and just waiting for the bus.
Why?
A couple minutes later,
I would yell.
he let go and sat back down.
Okay.
Red flags were going off,
Yeah.
but I kept trying to rationalize it.
No.
Maybe he heard me coughing and thought I didn't feel well, or maybe he saw me leaning out to look.
Okay, listen. No, like, he wrapped, like, didn't you say that he wrapped his arm around you? No.
up and wrapped his arm tightly around me.
No. If somebody is sick, you don't wrap the arm around you. If I heard that somebody was sick, I would ask them, hey, what's wrong? And then they would tell me. And I wouldn't go near them. No, this guy is a fucking creep.
I knew those excuses were stupid,
Yeah.
but I was trying to keep myself calm. People might be wondering why I didn't run or yell, but this man was well over 6 feet tall and easily twice my weight.
Ew.
He was also wearing one of those bandana-style face coverings.
No.
It was odd, but this was near the end of COVID, so some people still wore them.
No,
And
you
we were
wear a mask,
completely alone
not a
at the bus stop.
bandana.
I didn't want to provoke him. A few minutes later, he got up again and put his arm around me a second time, sometimes even stroking my back.
No.
Luckily, I was wearing a thick puffer jacket. I saw
Ew.
my bus approaching and just stayed still, thinking everything would be over once I got on.
How do you know you're
When the
dead at
bus
that
got
arm?
close, I slipped out of his grip and quietly said something like, "My bus is here." He said something in response that made it clear he planned to follow me onto the bus.
Yeah.
I know I should have told the driver, but I could barely talk without coughing, and nothing like this
my
has ever
God.
happened to me before. So I was panicking.
You're a
I
woman
got on the
who's
bus.
19.
I stood up on purpose. Because of his size, I knew he'd have to sit, and if I sat first, he would sit next to me.
Yeah.
Once he wasn't looming over me, I messaged a friend and tried to figure out what to do. I
You
considered calling the police,
run
but
away.
knew he would hear me, and I didn't know if he had a weapon.
Oh my god.
While I was stuck under
It's
his
the
grip
bus
earlier,
driver.
I was already planning what to do if he followed me.
Oh my god.
I knew I couldn't go to my friend's place. I also couldn't shake the thought that the group of men who dropped him off might be involved in something with
Literally, if I was in this situation, here's what I would do. I would call my friend, or I would message my mom and dad. After that, what I would do is I would go up to the bus driver at my stop, and I would tell them, hey, that man is following me. Can you not get him off on this point? Yeah, or keep him in here for like 5 minutes? You'll just give me a head start to run, or like, make sure he doesn't get off at this point. And even if you can't talk, you can still type it on your phone. Just write it down. And hopefully, if the bus driver is a good person, he'll do that.
him. The stop before my friend's place was the stop for work.
Okay?
I worked at a restaurant inside a large outdoor shopping center.
Yeah?
It was around 9:30 p.m. Even though all the stores closed at 9, I knew the entire center had security and cameras everywhere.
That's good!
I also knew my coworkers would still be there finishing closing duties. The only
Okay?
downside was the locked front door, but the back employee entrance would be open.
Okay?
To get in through the back, I'd need to go through the outdoor trash room enclosure first,
Okay,
then
on.
punch in the code on the door. When the bus
Are you
reached my
gonna
stop,
run?
the man got off right with me and immediately grabbed my shoulder again.
Oh,
and gripped
no,
it even
no,
tighter.
no.
I had to take tiny steps. I didn't want to suddenly sprint and alert him if I wasn't close enough to make it inside in time.
He's already touching you.
As we got closer to work, all I could think about was whether I'd be fast enough to break away and get through both doors before he caught me.
He's already
Thankfully, when he
touching
approached
you.
the back entrance, the door to the trash enclosure was propped open, and one of the chefs and a coworker were standing there talking with the back door held open. I used that moment.
Yeah.
His grip had released just slightly from walking.
Why?
And I slipped out of it and ran past him. I tried to tell my coworker that a man was following me
Yeah.
and to shut the door. Even though I could barely talk,
Yeah.
he closed it right away.
It doesn't matter. Just
Not even 2
mumble it.
seconds later, the handle started rattling violently,
Yeah.
and he started banging on the door.
Oh no,
I
no,
explained
he's a
as best
tweet.
I could that I didn't know him and that he followed me from the bus stop. We called mall security.
I don't think you need to explain shit. You ran in here, you're scared, and then as soon as they lock the door, somebody starts shaking it. You don't need to explain anything.
While we waited,
Yeah.
we could see the man pacing around the restaurant through the windows.
Nope.
After a
That's
couple of
creepy.
minutes, he walked into the ice cream shop directly across from us. Security arrived and asked me a few questions.
Yeah, it's
A
him.
coworker who had been at the door ended up driving me to my friend's place so I could check on her cat.
Good.
Then she drove me home. A few days later, my manager told me that mall security wanted to know if I wanted to press charges.
Yes.
I said I wasn't sure yet,
Oh
and
my
that I
God.
mostly wanted to know the man's name and what he claimed he was doing there.
Being
But my
a
manager never
fucking
followed
creep.
up, and I never heard anything again. To this day, I have no idea what that man wanted, though I definitely have my suspicions.
You?
I honestly forgot about the whole thing until recently, when my same friend asked me again if I could watch her cat for Thanksgiving.
Say no.
That's what brought all of this back.
Okay. Well, at least you don't remember it. A lot of the people, well, I mean, you do remember it, but yeah, it's not a really powerful memory, right? A lot of the people who post on these are trying to be like, oh, I can't forget about it. At least you're able to forget about it. But yeah, no. He either wanted to kidnap you, or rape you, or murder you. Yeah. I would want to press charges because like he could easily do it again. Like you not pressing charges on him is basically just like what is it? Ignorance or like compliance? It's like you're helping them by not doing anything. Inaction. I guess evil through inaction. But yeah, okay. Shidori number 2 is by Jeremy. Yeah, do this. Also, you don't need to know his name. That's weird. I guess it matters a bit, but eh.
This happened in early December 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I drove up into the mountains to visit an old friend I had not seen in a long time.
How young?
His fictional name for the story is Scott, and my real name is Jeremy.
Okay.
We had been friends since middle school, but after graduation, he moved out to a small mountain town with his family. Over the years, we slowly drifted apart. I
Aww.
stayed in New York City for work, and he stayed up in the mountains.
Okay.
We never fought or anything. We just stopped keeping up with each other's lives.
Yeah, it was
So when
slow.
he reached out to me out of
Over
nowhere
time.
and said I should come visit for a weekend, it made me feel kind of nostalgic and excited.
Yeah?
He
Aww.
said it was the best time to come up because the snow added to the rustic rural vibe.
I
figured it would be
bet.
fun to catch up. The drive up the mountain was extra long because I drove a bit slower due to icy conditions.
Yeah, no, you
There were
probably
barely
should.
any other cars on the road. The sun went down around 4 p.m. since it was December, and by the time I reached the area where he was
Ugh,
living, it was
December.
already pitch black. He lived in one of those older wooden houses on the side of the mountain.
A
There
cabin?
were only a few scattered houses nearby, all spaced out far from each other. He lives in a good area for skiing. If only I could ski. When I
You
pulled
can?
into his driveway and
I
he came
can.
outside to greet me, the first thing I noticed was
What?
that something about him felt off, or just different.
How?
I hadn't seen him in years, so I figured maybe I just forgot what he looked like
Yeah.
and acted like. But the way he talked was different.
How?
Slower than he used to talk, and he kept pausing between sentences like he forgot what he was saying.
Nope.
He helped carry
Sleepy.
my bag inside, and the inside of the house was warm but pretty empty. Not much furniture except for a couch, a table, a couple chairs, and some antique-looking wall decor.
Nice.
He told me I could sleep on the couch for the weekend since it folded into a pull-out bed.
Ooh.
I told him that was fine. The house had a long, dark hallway across from the couch that led to a bathroom and 2 empty guest rooms, which he explained were empty because this used to be his grandparents' house and they recently passed away.
Really?
He told me he lived alone here now. The hallway had no light at the end, and the doors were all open, so from the couch,
bit
all I
weird.
could see was this pitch-black rectangle stretching into the back of the house.
Nope.
For some
Light it
reason,
up.
it made me uncomfortable, even though there was nothing obviously scary about it.
It's dark.
That
That's
first
all you
night, we
need.
talked a little bit about old times, but it felt strange.
How?
His general demeanor and mannerisms were more socially awkward now.
I
But I
mean,
chalked it up to the fact that living alone in the mountains for years
It
could make
doesn't
anything
help.
a bit weird. He barely made eye contact, and I did feel like he kept looking in the direction of the hallway. When it was time to sleep,
no.
he went upstairs to his bedroom, and I got the couch set up.
what's
I
happening?
left a light near the hallway on because the dark made me nervous. I felt stupid
would.
about it, but the hallway really bothered me.
Yeah.
I fell asleep, but at around 2 in the morning, I
What?
woke up to a thumping sound from upstairs.
Nope.
I quickly
Oh, no.
realized they were fast footsteps running across the floor above
Oh
me.
no.
It sounded like someone sprinting from one end of the room to the other,
No.
then stopping and then sprinting again. The footsteps went on for about 20 seconds before just stopping completely.
Where?
I
Above you?
waited to hear a door open or close or anything,
No?
but there was complete silence after that.
God.
I eventually fell back asleep, even though I was pretty creeped the fuck out
Yeah.
after that.
How do you do
The
that?
second day was even weirder.
A
Scott acted
second
distracted
day?
the entire day, barely talking, barely eating, and whenever I asked if he was feeling okay, he would just nod without saying anything.
That's
I
weird.
didn't understand why he was acting this way, being that he invited me here for the weekend for...
That would be my point. Like, usually, if somebody invites you, they want to, like, talk to you a lot, or they want to, like, hang out a lot. Like, if he had done and said, I would get it, but, like, he invites you here, and yet he, like, doesn't really interact with you hard. That's kind of weird.
what I assumed was to catch up and rekindle our friendship.
Yeah.
I also counted him going down that hallway at least 5 times throughout the day, and I never bothered to check what he was looking at.
Nothing.
Since there was a bathroom at the end of the hall, I just presumed he was going in there, even though I never heard a flush.
5 times?
That night, the weather got worse, and a snowstorm rolled through.
No.
Wind slammed against the house hard enough to make the walls shake a little.
No.
It was
it's
awesome,
warm.
honestly.
It's too
I love the vibe of being snowed in a cozy place.
This is
I went to the
cozy.
couch and scrolled on my phone for like an hour, then went to sleep.
Okay.
Around 2 in the morning, I woke up again.
To
This
what?
time, I heard soft scraping sounds.
Where?
They
Where
were
are
coming
they?
from downstairs, somewhere in the hallway. It sounded like something dragging across the wooden floor.
A knife? A
Then it just
machete?
stopped. But then there was a sudden tap on the wall behind me,
No.
like someone had flicked it with their finger. I turned and looked down the hallway. I didn't leave that light on that night, so it was completely dark. I didn't want to get up. I did
Yeah.
my best to just roll to the other side and block the noises out.
Nope.
Old
Forget
house, I
about it.
kept telling myself. I did fall back asleep, and the next thing I remember is waking up in the morning.
Okay.
The third night was the worst. By this time, I felt uneasy in the house in general, and I kept catching Scott staring at me for too long without saying
That's
anything,
weird.
like he was checking if I noticed something.
Ask
I
him.
almost thought about leaving early, but the snowstorm was supposed to last until morning.
Damn.
After dinner, Scott went upstairs early, and I stayed up on my phone, starting to question the point of this visit entirely.
Yeah. Why?
Eventually, I set up the couch and laid down. I shut my eyes and tried to sleep.
You're in
But
there
sometime
for
around
like
2 in the morning
days.
again, I woke up without knowing why. My eyes opened, but the rest of my body refused to move.
Why?
I had heard of sleep paralysis before, but I had never experienced it. It was like being awake inside a dead body. I could
Ew.
only move my eyes. I couldn't even move my fingers. I
Okay.
started to panic, but then something made it even worse.
What?
I noticed movement at the far end of the hallway.
No.
At first, it was so dark that I couldn't tell if it was real or not.
No.
But after a few seconds, I realized what I was seeing. Scott was standing at the very end of the hallway.
Oh!
I could only see his outline because his face
No.
was completely hidden in the
Oh,
darkness. His arms hung at his sides, and he
No.
was standing perfectly still,
Oh, God.
like he'd been there for a long time just watching me. It was like a scene from Paranormal Activity.
No.
I tried to speak to him, but no sound came out. I
Why?
tried to move or twitch or anything, but
No.
my body stayed
Close
frozen.
your eyes.
I didn't even feel like I was breathing, to be honest. I could only stare. He stood there for what felt like an entire
No.
minute,
You
not
better
moving
not
at all.
move.
Then, without warning, he slowly turned to his right and walked into the guest room at the end of the hall.
Okay?
He disappeared into the darkness without a sound. My body slowly started to regain control. First my fingers, then my arms, then my ability to sit up.
Okay?
Once I fully snapped out of it,
Yeah.
I sat up shaking and sweating. I kept telling myself it might have just been a dream or a hallucination,
No.
since sleep paralysis can cause that.
It doesn't
But
matter.
something in my gut said it wasn't.
That
I
out.
whispered his name to see if he would answer.
Why?
Nothing. Against everything in me, I got up and forced myself to walk down the hallway toward the room he had gone into.
Why?
When I stepped inside, the room looked empty. But in the far corner by the window, someone was standing. I could see the shape of a person facing the window looking outside. I couldn't tell if it was Scott.
It is. Maybe.
Either way,
Maybe
the
it's
sight was
not.
horrifying. I slowly backed out and
Why?
then ran upstairs to his bedroom. I found Scott asleep in his bed,
Oh,
completely
God.
knocked out. I shook him awake, and he looked confused and irritated, like he
Shut
had no
up.
idea why I was waking him up. When I tried to tell him what I saw, he refused to go downstairs.
Why?
I begged him to believe me that someone else was in the house. He would not even look toward the stairs.
God damn
He
it.
didn't
Why
say
am I
anything,
here?
but his expression changed in a way that scared me even more.
What?
He looked like he already knew what I had seen. I then asked him firmly, "Scott, who is that downstairs?"
Tell
He
me.
just looked at me and shrugged his shoulders. At that point, I decided I was done.
No, I'm
I
out.
didn't care about the snow or the time. I ran downstairs and grabbed my bag to pack my stuff.
Okay.
I kept glancing toward the hallway, half expecting
Yeah.
to see that person standing there again. Genuinely, I just wanted to teleport out of that house immediately.
Yeah.
When I got outside, the cold air almost relieved me.
You're
I
not
brushed
in
snow off
there
my car and
anymore.
got inside as fast as possible. As I backed out of the driveway, I made the mistake of looking up at the house one
You
last
saw
time.
him?
In that window of the room at the end of the hallway, I saw a silhouette. Surely that same person I saw standing in that room just before.
Yeah.
That was the last thing I ever saw of Scott's house.
Damn.
After that weekend, he stopped responding to texts.
Good.
I threatened to call in a wellness check when I got worried that he got murdered or something. And finally he responded saying, "I'm fine." That's it though. He didn't respond to any further texts, so I
Okay.
stopped bothering.
Yeah.
That was not the same Scott I knew from school. Whatever happened to him, and whoever that was in his house, it's not my problem. I'd be lying if I said it doesn't terrify the shit out of me though.
Man, there are like so many possibilities to this last story. Like, what happened to Sadat? Who is the person downstairs? What kind of role does Sadat play in the story? Is he a bad guy? Is he like, I don't know, is he an accomplice? Because like, Sadat didn't really do anything, I think. Like, technically, nothing like bad even really happened to you. But it was Shadari, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know, like, maybe that's his partner, maybe it's a tripo. Maybe Sadat knew, or maybe he didn't. Like, so many possibilities. Like, why is he different now? Because at first, my assumption was that this isn't actually Sadat, but somebody else pretending to be him. But now, we've got another person in the house who is being sleepy too. So, I don't know. I would think things like half a minute there that like, oh, maybe Sadat is being like held hostage. And he brought you here because he wanted to like, I don't know, maybe the man told him to get you here? Because why else would he ask you to come for no reason and not do anything with you? So, either he wanted to tell you and he wasn't able to, or like something else. I don't know. And you're right. It isn't your problem, really. It really isn't. As much as I want an ending to it, I can't really tell you to like do anything else. But wow. When Jeremy said Sadat had 2 empty death rooms, but making him sleep on the couch, that was a big red flag. But, okay, everybody. I think that is going to be the end of the video. And I hope to see you guys next time for another Mr. Nightmare. Bye!